Hey guys, what is up? I just shot a really long video in the kitchen. You won't see it till next week about kitchen tools, so that's cool. And I'm getting ready to go outside because the guys are working on something. I wanted to take you out. Lulu got her first grooming yesterday. So she just came out from being in the mud. You can see her eyes now. Isn't that good? She's doing very well. She didn't necessarily need to be groomed, but we're trying to get her in the habit of that because it's pretty important for poodles to have regular maintenance on their coats. So she just got around her eyes shaved because we plan on leaving her unclipped. But look how big she's getting. She looks so pretty other than the mud that she just went and got in. We started to bring out the Christmas decor. And our pre-lit tree's not lighting up, so we gotta address that. Come on, you going inside? I'm going outside. Sometimes he follows Maya out and then realizes that I'm not coming. Comes back. Waits for me. Hey, Katie girl. Katie girl got her hair cut yesterday too. All right, let's come out here. It's quite windy, so I'll do the best I can with the audio. The hogs are getting moved around. What's up, farmers?
You almost just died?
You almost just died?
No, we're farming. No dying happened. Almost got hurt, though. Who almost got hurt? Me. Oh. Slipped in poo.
You slipped in poo?
Almost. Almost slipping in poo does not classify as almost dying, Will. If that's the case, I've been dead a long time.
Hey, baby pigs. Hey, little babies. Hey. So they just got some new ground here. They're getting close to ready, going to new homes. And Mama's over here recovering from birth and nursing. So she's just going to be putting some weight back on before she is rebred later. Well, she'll have some time to rest between and make sure she gets back up to body condition. And then Dolly over here is just getting to the age that she's going to be ready to go in with the boar for her first breeding. She's just hitting maturity. Alright, I had to run back in and pull some cookies out of the oven that I had in here. It's a brave move, going outside for a moment when you've got something in the oven. So got another little rack. Put these on before anybody asks. Not from scratch. I know you may be scandalized to learn this, but I do not cook absolutely everything from scratch. Though I do cook many things from scratch. Or you could even say most things from scratch. I do sometimes do things like buy pre-made cookies. Especially for things like gluten-free that I have not quite mastered yet. Though if you have a great gluten-free cookie recipe, please do leave it down below. But there is just something really special about baking a batch of cookies, and I'm going to get to that. We're going to sit and have a chat because I have something I want to share with you guys after I finish this task. In the meantime, I do want to tell you that I currently have an open Pampered chef party. Now, if you've been with me very long, you know I do one of these every year during this time of year because I love Stoneware. It never fails. Somebody pops up about Pampered Chef being network marketing. You know what? Whatever. I'm not a Pampered Chef consultant. One of my very dear friends, Samantha, is. If you're part of our Friends of Roots Refuge Facebook page, you've seen her name there. She has been a moderator on there for the last couple of years. And she is like the bomb.com as far as a Pampered Chef consultant. So in order to support my friend and her business and buy some of my genuine favorite cooking products, I host a party every year around this time of year, and it's open right now, and you can place your order and it ships right when you place it, so you don't have, it doesn't wait till the party ends to ship your order. But I'm telling you what, I used to think I was a terrible baker, until I got Stoneware for the first time. So this pan's still kind of hot. This is probably the ones I use the most are those, they're like jelly roll pans. But also, let me show you. This pizza pan, this is my oldest one. This came with Jeremiah. He actually had this when I met him. And so this pan is older than our marriage. And I also use Stoneware for baking bread. I have the loaf pans as well as the pie dishes. So I got my first one of these. I think this actually is my first one. I think this one's probably close to 10 years old. It's a little bit different style than the other ones that I have because it's older. Anyway, I've had that one for a long time. But Stoneware of any kind, whether it's Pampered Chef or not, it actually, when you're baking, it doesn't burn things. It actually will dehydrate them before it will burn them. So if you are the queen of black bottomed cookies, you might have gotten the title from me. I'm not the queen of that anymore because I bake on Stoneware. But yeah, it actually will cause things to get drier and crispier rather than black and ruined. I like that because I'm a little lackadaisical as a person. It's helped me a lot in baking. So I bake our bread in Stoneware. I bake pies in Stoneware, quiches. I mean, we use those jelly roll pans. That's how we cook bacon, is we'll just lay it out flat and bake it in the oven on 400 till it's crispy, and then you don't have grease everywhere. You don't pop it on you. You don't have it popping on you, and you just pour the grease off and save it and put the bacon to drain on like towels. I also have Stoneware casserole dishes, and Pampered Chef has lots of other good stuff. Some of it, you know, it's probably cool. Some of it is probably overpriced. But for the Stoneware, it is truly, it's my favorite. And it's made in the USA, and it's just really quality. It has good warranty. The Stoneware is like my big reason why I even host those parties, because introducing people to that, I'm always really confident to do. The link to that is down below. Samantha is awesome. Let's go sit and chat on the couch about making cookies and setting the atmosphere of your home. Y'all, Jeremiah has been teaching the kids chess, and yeah, so he got this side table, which it has checker pieces that came with it. We got some chess pieces, and it is so cute watching them play. Okay, is this gonna work? I think it's gonna work. A little bit weird light there, but it'll be okay. I did some chats with you guys while shelling peas over the summer, and you know, garden season ended, so I ran out of peas to shell. But I have been doing a lot of crocheting, and I'm actually working on blankets for gifts for Christmas. Quite a hefty quota of crocheting that I'm trying to get done every day. Ooh, I tangled myself up in this. Alright. And I figured we could chat and crochet. I've had a few comments about this and people asking me like, why don't you make more videos about that? I'm not going to make crochet tutorials. I am by no means skilled enough at this to do that. I will link a lady that I've been watching and learning from on here, and instead of trying to be the person that teaches everything with mediocrity, I would rather promote people who are teaching it excellently and inspire you, maybe seeing me do it, to maybe go follow somebody else that actually is making a channel about that. I make the type of content that I make and teach people and inspire people, but I don't have to be the teacher of everything. But the thing I want to talk to you guys about today is I want to talk to you about being a thermostat instead of a thermometer. So I just pulled these cookies out of the oven. Not fancy cookies, not from scratch cookies, not cookies that took a lot of effort. I mean, it literally took opening the package and putting them on the pan. And that's okay. I have a friend, her name is Becca. Years ago, I was at a church that she was kind of like serving as a counselor at this church. And I became really close to her when my children were very young. So I had Jackson when I was 19. Of course, when I married Maya, I got Malia, and she and Jackson are about the same age. They're 3 months apart, and then Asher, and then Toby, Ezra, and Ben, all within 10 years. So when my kids were young, it wasn't just that I had a young child, I had a lot of young children. And that is such a hard season. And I remember one time talking to my friend Becca, and I told her, I was like, I just don't want to be a bad mom. And I would tell her, times it's just, things are crazy and the kids are going crazy and I'm losing my cool, I'm losing my peace. And I would tell her, like, I felt so bad. Like, I felt like I was doing such a bad job. And I remember her saying this thing to me that has just always stuck with me. And she said, oh, Jessica, bad moms don't care. She was like, you know, when you're worrying about something like that, when you're thinking about something like that, and you're inspecting yourself, and you're, you know, like, you're trying to take good care of your children, she was just like, bad moms don't think like that. She was like, actual bad moms, they don't care if they're a bad mom. And I was like, oh. It was so freeing to me to realize, like, I care about my children. And I need to stop condemning myself for the things that I do that, you know, are not my shining moments. I need to realize that I am making choices to care about my children and trying to show up for them and love them well. And I remember her in this same conversation giving me this piece of advice. And she had raised multiple children to adulthood, you know, had learned her lessons by trial and error. And she told me, when you feel like you're home, like when your home feels chaotic, or when you want to set an atmosphere in your home, when you want to take control of that chaos and you want it to feel good, she said, just bake cookies. She said they don't have to be fancy. She's like, I know you like to do things from scratch, but just buy some dough, have it in the freezer, have it in the fridge, and whenever you need to set the tone, just turn on the oven and bake the cookies. And I know that's just such a simple thing to say, but the lesson that I have learned from that thing that Becca told me that day, we have the power to set the temperature, if you will, in our home and in our relationships. And I learned a long time ago how important it is to not live your life as if it's happening to you. There are things that are going to happen to you. There are things that are out of your control. There are things that are unjust. There are things that have happened to you that you should have never had to go through. I am not minimizing that. And maybe somebody needs to hear that. Like, there are things that you have had to go through that no one should ever have to go through. And I'm sorry. But with that said, knowing that our life is not happening to us and that we have our hand on the wheel and we can be a thermostat in our home rather than just a thermometer, it is so empowering. Obviously, like, I'm all about, like, eating healthy and eating well, and obviously it's not always as simple as opening up a pack of pre-made cookie dough and putting it in the oven. But here in just a little bit, I'm going to go get my kids and I'm going to bring them in. And honestly, we had a kind of chaotic morning. It was just a lot this morning. We, you know, the kids all kind of had a flu bug the last week and just not feeling great. I haven't been feeling great, and I haven't been sleeping well because I've had some head congestion and, you know, just all these little things that kind of pile up. And this morning was just staticky. Like, it was just like, you know, and it was kind of frustrating. And I managed to not lose my cool with my kids this morning, but everybody was just kind of off. It wasn't peaceful. I've been thinking about it today. We pulled out our decorations and we were going to do that this evening. And I've thought, you know, I really want it to be a peaceful evening. I really want it to be enjoyable and memorable, and I'd love to take some lovely photos and make some lovely memories. And that's not to say that somebody's not going to get their feelings hurt and cry, and somebody's not going to kick their brother, you know, like the things that happen when you have 5 boys in the house. But I can choose to set the tone of peace. I can choose to have cookies on the counter that when the kids come through, I can say, hey guys, I was just thinking about you this afternoon and I wanted to do something special for you. So I made these cookies, and they're going to walk into this house and they're going to smell that, and they're going to have something that they know. I was just thinking about them and I wanted to do something special for them that they would have as soon as they walked in the door. Knowing that I have the power to shift that, and knowing that I have the power to not just be reactive always in a situation, but to be proactive. To say, what can I do to bring love into this situation? What can I do to bring peace into this situation? And I'm kind of touched on this idea. I did a video talking about making wassail and shared my recipe, and I talked about how it's an atmosphere setter because it just fills the house with this amazing fragrance, and it's so delicious. And because we've now made wassail at every holiday, and every time we decorate the Christmas tree, and every time, you know, we're having a Christmas or a holiday dinner or something like that, a friends over for dinner, and I'll make this. It's now laced with so many lovely memories that when I have the wassail going and the house is full of that smell, it evokes that in them. It evokes all those times that we were happy. It evokes all those times we were together. I make jokes sometimes about, well, store-bought tomatoes taste like disappointment. But the truth is that the smell of wassail tastes like togetherness. Things can have flavors that are beyond just the actual flavor. Things can evoke memories. And when we use that knowledge to our advantage, and we use fragrances and flavors to create experiences, it's just another tool in the belt for a person who knows that they are the thermostat of their home rather than the thermometer. I don't know, today I pulled I pulled that cookie dough out of the fridge. And as a content creator and a blogger and the kind of person who shares how to do things from scratch, my first gut reaction is to not turn the camera on to that. My first gut reaction is to think, you know what, I'll turn the camera on when I'm sharing something worth sharing. When I'm sharing the from scratch recipe, or the thing that, you know, the recipe that was handed down, or this delicious thing. But there is something extremely valuable in sharing with people, hey, it doesn't always have to be ideal. And if you are aiming for ideal, what's going to ultimately happen in your home, in your family, in the culture you're trying to create in your life. And this is not just for, you know, people who are raising young children. This could be applied in all measures of life, all different places. Yes, I'm speaking from my experience and where I'm applying this in homemaking and having young children, but this goes to all kinds of relationships and small groups and workplace situations and community efforts and all of that stuff. If you are always aiming for ideal, ultimately what will happen is when it's not ideal, and it's never always ideal. Like, life is not always ideal, period. Doesn't matter how good you are. When it's not ideal, what you will find yourself doing is turning into a thermometer, and you're just measuring the inadequacy of your life. You're just measuring the inadequacy of the situation, and you'll find yourself reacting to the measurement that you're reading. Instead of taking a situation, like, maybe isn't ideal by somebody's standards, like, but why is it not ideal for me to make cookies for my kids for them to come home? Why is that not ideal for me to say I was thinking of you guys and I wanted to do something special? I think that's pretty great. And I can see the value that brings. And when the goal is no longer perfection, when the goal is just to be a thermostat, instead of grading yourself on everything, on how great it is, or how impressive it is, or how Pinterest worthy it is, but the goal is to be a thermostat, and I am just trying to set an atmosphere of peace and home and togetherness and belonging and all of these most important things, most lasting things. I stopped being a thermometer. I stopped trying to gauge everything as hot or cold, or good or bad, or right or wrong. Instead, I'm setting the temperature. I'm setting an atmosphere. And whatever it takes to get that point across, it's fine. What, ideal or not. If the end goal is that my kids come home, they feel my love, and we can maybe be a little less agitated than we were this morning, that has been a success. That's just kind of an encouraging word that I really wanted to share with you guys. For a long time, it was hard for me to speak out on stuff like that because we have this blended family, and for the longest time, I saw it as broken. You know, we had these broken pieces that we had put together. But though it was put together by broken pieces, it is the most beautiful blended thing that I've ever seen. It's not perfect, and you know, I imagine that there will be things that my kids tell me that they wish was different when they're older. I mean, I'm sure that will happen, but I feel confident in saying that I'm not a bad mom, you know, and I feel confident in saying that I live my life in this home as a thermostat, and not a thermometer. I'm not just reacting to the things that are around me. I'm taking control of them. And I just hope that maybe in sharing that with you, it might just turn a light bulb on. That language being shared might turn a light bulb on for you, where you could realize and maybe feel empowered that maybe you can't change everything. Maybe you can't take control of everything. There might be some factors outside of your control as far as the temperature of your home goes. But just, you know, maybe bake some cookies. Maybe some store-bought dough. Might change something. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I bless you. Until next time.